everything starts from somewhere. There must be a plan before the execution. And for the execution to be successful, you need to stand with whatever principle is stated in that plan that you had. So I think for today's topic, it's more or less the plan. It's more or less what should you consider doing for you to be successful in whatever we're going to talk
It's like
about.
knowing what materials you're going to get so that you can build. It's not foundation, we've not started building yet.
It's the materials for the foundation.
Yeah.
We want to now fix the foundation.
Yeah.
Yeah, so
You need poles. Do you need mesh? Do you need chuma? Do you need tiles?
whatever item you need, this is what we're going to talk about right about today. So my name is Austin Kinda.
And my name is Yultetina.
So join us as we talk about the difficult conversations before a relationship starts or marriage.
Oh yeah.
Should be that way.
Let's just say commitment. Yeah, commitment. So whichever commitment you're planning to have to commit to, it's up to you. There are conversations that at times, most of the failed marriages, most of the failed relationships. Okay, I don't want to say marriage because I feel like sijafika hapo, because I feel like I'm too young to advise people.
Yeah, someone who's
go to marriage. Yeah, I've not even experienced it. I don't know what it's like. I just know two people live together and it's happy forever.
But in itself, I usually say to myself that you're never too young to understand something.
Yeah.
Do you know that you can give the president of this nation
an advice simply because there's something that your brain can't miss. It's the intelligence.
I mean, we every day we learn something new. And when we learn these new things, we can share with someone. But also, because we are Africans and anyone who is older than me...
it's very funny.
Yeah.
I should show and conduct TV on a daktari simply because the doctor is too young. Ati uyu aizi nielewa.
Really? I always say I've experienced that at some point in life. She was like...
Yeah, you told me that story.
She was like, I can't do...
She's young.
She's young. No, Ati, I'm not safe. And you're like, really? She's qualified. Because she wouldn't be there if she's not qualified. She worked hard to be a doctor. So I'm like, this African perception about things at times, you're like, oh, says the father heavy, or I can't be advised by someone young than me. Remember today, the young people are the one who have a lot of information and a lot of brains. So if you don't want to listen to them, well, it's okay. But
so without deviating, I was saying there are conversations that people skip in most failed commitments. There are conversations that people assume it's too little to even make sense. It's too little to make an impact. Not knowing that these things can be as big as a mountain.
And I feel like young people don't want to address some of these things.
Yeah.
They think that, a relationship is all flowers and roses. But then these conversations, these things that you really need to talk about and tell yourself, by the way, if we don't talk about this today, maybe our relationship would work the way we want it to work. But when you sit down, be it you want to date or you're getting married, there are things that you must talk about, because a relationship or marriage comes with responsibilities.
Yeah.
And for you to have a successful relationship, be it marriage or the one you're just dating, if you don't have that plan, if you don't talk about these things, believe me, itaanguka na kesho hivyo, and you forget about it.
It's not even kuanguka na kesho. When you come to find out about these silly things, you'll be like, what the hell? You're like, I didn't want to say that word earlier. What the hell? You didn't know, for example, now, a Muslim and a Christian is dating. Most people assume that for you to be a Muslim, you have to be light skin. You have to be having soft hair. No, just listen to the definition of a Muslim. Like, utawana useme ni Muislamu. He or she is light skin. Akona nywele, the makamasi one. And a kanzu, amefunga hijab. Sasa now you find a Muslim who dresses like a Christian. He doesn't walk around.
How does a Christian dress?
Huh?
How does a Christian dress?
How does a Christian dress? Like the civilized manner. just like how you dressed. Yeah, like they're not paying attention to whatever their culture says, right? Then the lady is a Muslim. Then the guy comes and proposes after even 3 years of dating. Then anakuja anapropose, then he's surprised. Yeah, the lady is a Muslim. You know, that's
Don't miss this conversation.
yeah.
I feel like whoever is watching right now, watch it till the end, because this is not just that conversation where we laugh throughout.
No, but something like yeah, hilarious.
We'll have to, yeah. But then it's so serious. It's things that really you need to talk about.
You
Yeah.
think it was your point?
So I think my very first thing is my very first point is about health. A lot of people don't want to talk about health when they want to commit, because they feel like if I tell this person about my health, maybe they'll judge me this way or they won't understand me. Health is not all about illnesses and these conditions. It's how you also, how do you say it? How
Your
you
eating
eat,
behavior.
your eating behaviors.
Are you vegan? Are you only a person who sticks to meat, pekiyake?
Exactly. So you're there, for example, I'll give you an example with a condition. You're there, you're asthmatic. So this person has never known, you've been dating for the last 3 years, this person has never known that unakuanga asthmatic. Then all of a sudden, kifua inafungana, you don't have your inhaler, nothing is there, but you really need help. You know, this person will look at you and be like, oh, she's just joking. And simply because you didn't have that conversation, tell the person, by the way, I'm usually asthmatic and it can attack me at any time. If I don't have my inhaler, this is what you're supposed to do. So if you're
Or even that at the health situations like those, for you to know a condition of your partner, you have to have in mind, like, okay, one day we'll have children and like 2 out of 3 will be asthmatic. That's an
exactly,
expense. It comes with an expense.
yeah, it helps you plan for the future.
Yeah.
Or maybe this might sound like a joke, but dwarfism. Get this,
What? It was like unaona tu.
it's genetic.
Yeah.
At times, maybe it's not visible in me. I'm tall, but someone from my family, they're short. So maybe I haven't told you, but I don't know to quit ni wafupi. I'm the only one who is the odd one out. I'm taller than anyone else. Unajua hii will also help you plan for the future. Unajua vizuri, some of my children, itafika a certain level, they won't grow. So when people start talking about them, we know how to go about it. It helps a lot because you understand all this. At least it helps you understand that when you have children, no one will start saying this about our children, or we won't start having these fights kwa nyumba ati watu wa kwenyu, watu wa kwetu. We know where the thing is because we talked about it.
Okay, now that we're talking about children, thinking about what is happening in US or what is happening in South Africa, the racism of, the black person being discriminated simply because of the skin color. For example, a white person dates a black person, right? No problem, no issue at all. But you have to know that the child you're going to bring, the fruit of that, whatever commitment, marriage, that child is going to be facing a hard society.
True.
Like, how will you try to talk to them? Will you bring them up as the tough kid? Will you talk to them that out here things are not good? I feel like those people really have a hard time talking to kids because unajua watoto at times you're like hata elewa, but you have to teach them because when they go out there, you're not with them.
The world is very different when
Yeah.
they're not with you. And also, let us go back to how you eat. No, maybe I don't eat everything. I don't like my food being cooked with oil
Because
or tomatoes or onions. I just want boiled food. Talk to your partner about them. Or you know very well that when you eat eggs, you're allergic to it. So when you start eating eggs, sura inaanza kufura left, right, and center. So have this conversation. Tell the person, by the way, I usually don't eat this, and this is the reason as to why. Or I love doing this. I love eating. And health also involves workouts. Tell your partner, I usually love running in the morning, about an hour, then I come back to my things. Tell them, see it is sasa now, you're there dating or you're married, then you start running, you wake up at 5, You go right. Alafu anaanza, kwani niliolewa na mchawi? Nilioa mchawi.
When that they start feeling like, okay, you're avoiding me every day.
True.
You're at 5, at 4, you're out of the bed. Are you avoiding me or something? Did I do something? They start, assuming assumptions and the conclusion.
Because that is how, to you, that's how you take care of your health. But to them, it's completely something totally different from whatever you're doing. Imagination now or how they view it is completely different. So if you do not have this conversation about your health, how you take care of your health, how your family maybe is in terms of these genetic conditions and health issues, talk to them about this. Tell them, okay, I'm usually ill, or maybe baridi and effect at this time of the year. Talk to them about this. Once you have that conversation about your health, your relationship is good to go.
Yeah, you'll even find that person buying you a trench coat like, okay, this time of the year, imefika, I brought you this, it can help you out. Instead of keeping it to yourself, then when it affects you, it becomes a chaotic scene of, okay, this is happening to you. Then there's the question at the back of the house, why
trust each other?
why did you tell me? It's just this, a lot of chaos, it really cools the temperature.
Yeah, true.
Yeah, so my first point, but our second point is fears and weaknesses. So every human being has a fear. Every human being has a weakness. It's what makes us unique or who we are. So when you open up to your partner or a person you're considering to be a partner, a potential person, about your fears, maybe you identify, maybe you have the same view on things that you have as fears. For example, I fear heights. Like me, heights, ati nimeenda kwa building huko juu na haina grill. No, I can't do that. I can't skydive. I just fear heights. Then they're like, oh, you fear heights? I also fear heights. So we are the same. What if you didn't tell them? Then yakupeleke and you were like, you're so scared you can even have a panic attack. Then it becomes another situation. So I feel like when we open up about these things, it really makes the road easy so that they're not surprised or caught in awe by something.
And when you talk about fear, I think there's some people who just fear surprises.
Surprised?
Yeah.
There are people who fear surprise.
Exactly. They don't want to be surprised.
How do they survive?
No, everyone is different. And if you want to surprise them and you just come up with that surprise that you had, they look at you like, why have you wasted your time? Maybe.
Okay, not that they fear surprises.
They don't like.
Not that they don't like. I feel like, yes, I'm surprised, but unampea hint. Like, okay,
Yeah, they want
something.
hints. They want.
I'll do something with
They don't just want to be surprised that yes, unampata evil off guard. No.
Now I was watching a movie.
Yeah.
So this lady was supposed to be getting married to the guy. So the mother-in-law, the mother to this guy, akasema, the lady aishi kwa uyo madam for a week. Like they're living in the same house for a week. Then they separate the following week, then the following week new wedding. So like, for them to adapt to each other and know each other's behaviors. The excuse of the mom-in-law wants to get to know you better. So you gotta come and stay for a week, a weekend. So this lady, she agreed. So at first she wasn't told that the mom will be living in that house. So yeah, so the surprise parties in movies between couples, they live around lingerie, some flowers, some these nasty things. Then the madam walks in and she was unaja alishtuka. The lady alishtuka juu she thought the mom will be coming after notifying them. Kumbe the mom is living in the same house. She threw the surprise not knowing that the mom is around. Then the mom came in and found stuff around. It just looks chaotic.
So now I'm telling you, if you don't want surprises, if you hear this surprise, talk about it. And there's another thing, people we also fear about sitting around people. When you want to start a relationship, I'll just come and tell you, by the way, do you know what I'm usually afraid of? sitting around people. Not that I hate or not that I can't,
It just makes you
but
uncomfortable.
it makes me uncomfortable. But once I'm free with you, we can really talk, we can laugh, and you get to know me in a different angle. But if you don't tell them, so there are these people who are outgoing.
Yeah.
So they'll always take you to these places, and maybe you're not that type of person. So if you don't have that conversation, believe me, after every of these events, you'll be having fights in the houses. Why did you take me there? Where you don't respect me? All these things.
Not even that. It starts giving them, that proceed with caution feeling.
Yeah.
Now they start treading carefully around you. They're like, no, I don't want to go. Can we go out today? No, I don't want to go. Can we go out for dinner? No, I don't.
And someone gives
Because they feel like,
excuses.
yeah.
And to some people, they interpret it as red flags. And you're like,
In a conversation that wasn't had.
the
Yeah.
conversation wasn't there. So if you have that conversation, you'll avoid the red flag thing.
Now let's go to the weakness part. The weakness part is kind of behavioral.
Yep.
Like I can say, your tolerance, with temper. I can say, like, as for me, when ikifika 55.5, it's done. Like, that's the 100 degrees of me. Like, things can even go through the roof. So when you don't have conversation about how you handle your temper, how you handle your quiet time, or how you handle difficult issues, like to deal with mental health, actually, because it's behavioral, and weaknesses mostly come when things are not okay. Yeah. So when we talk about how we handle these things, maybe I'm having a problem, and then when one person is having a problem and doesn't want to talk about in a commitment or a potential commitment, there are bumps or kuna breaks. Like there's somewhere it makes sense. Like you start having a rough patch, then it's like you're going separate ways. But it's about having this conversation, then you two go through it together.
And when it comes to weakness, I would also involve this part of just the way you said your behaviors.
Yeah.
There are these people who are addicted to some nasty things, or they're addicted to very funny things.
Yeah.
If you know you have this problem, just tell your partner. By the way, when it comes to this one, I usually find myself I don't know what happens to me. It makes me not think appropriately, and I'm like, this is one of my weaknesses. Maybe it's overspending. Maybe it's drugs. Maybe exactly.
It can be alcohol. It can be even a kiwi. It can be anything.
Whatever thing is, just tell them this is one of the things that is my weakness. And when you have that conversation, it will help both of you understand how to overcome that weakness and build something great.
Without it separating people. There's also this thing that I think most people should adapt to or make it a part of themselves. For you to take a person and say that I love this person, I want to love this person, I want this person to be my better half, you have to love all the trash that is going back. Yeah, you have to love all the trash. So if you don't talk about the trash, if you keep the trash hidden, what's this? How will the person react to it being taken out? There's this thing that people say that the husband knows the wife. Atakama, the wife has done something wrong, the husband anamjua 101%. Atakama anajua ni yeye amefanya, atamtetea. But when they go to the bedroom, he will tell her that was not right. Why? Because this conversation...
They have the conversation. It's very important. My other point is culture, tradition, and I'll combine it with religion, because you had mentioned something about religion.
Mm-hmm.
You see, when we want to have a commitment, when we want to get married, let's talk about our culture. Let's talk about our tradition. Let's talk about our religion.
I feel like the tradition part catches.
I'll start with religion. Mm-hmm. Most of the people believe that if you're Muslim and I'm a Christian, or the other way around, we are not supposed to get married. I've never known why it is a problem. And I feel like for you not to be surprised, just like we said in the beginning, talk about this. Tell the person, by the way, I'm a strong Christian, or I am a strong Muslim, Or else you can say my denomination is A, your denomination is B. Let's talk about it. Have this conversation so that when you start dating or when you're married, you don't now see things and get surprised that in your church you do this or in your religion you do this. Talk about it, because in Christianity, different denominations have different values and how they conduct themselves. So if you don't talk about this, maybe church A is doing things differently from church B.
Let's give an example.
I don't have to mention.
You don't want to mention.
You can say it.
Mention.
I don't want to be
Not
misunderstood.
discriminating.
Yeah.
But these things do happen. For example, we have church A, where people just sing hymns. You can dress whichever way you want. You sing hymns, of course. You just pray, nothing violent, nothing vigorous, and we're done. That's a church day.
Church A.
B, where the women tie vitambas, they wear from here to there. They clap very hard.
Oh.
Like they have exhaustion of spirits. It's Christianity, yes, but churches have different approaches to,
One is thing I heard in one of these TV shows. There's this person who was asked, "What is your religion?" He said, "Mimi Nulo Kidundu." I don't know what that is, but if you know you're that, tell your partner. By the way, Mimi know your church.
Yeah.
Tell them. I'm not saying it's.
They always say to end the church.
You don't give excuses. I'm gonna start giving excuses that church yetu sijui ilihamishwa, sijui walichoma church. Stop giving excuses. Just tell them, by the way, Mimi are from this church.
Genuinely, whichever doesn't make headlines.
Be that person is open. Tell them. That is religion. Be open about it.
And I feel like being open actually is a sense of confidence. It gives an aura of, all the good things that you would want in a person, because they want you to know me from A to Z. Then you start canceling, assimilating, and accommodating.
Yeah. Number 2 is tradition and culture. I think I'll just name them, have them as one. Tradition and cultures. This is where we have a problem. Tribe A has different customs with tribe B. Or country A has different traditions and beliefs with country B. If you do not talk about it, do you expect your marriage, do you expect your dating life to be as successful as you wanted it to be? Maybe in our culture, the tradition is that men do not get in the kitchen, and your culture says that men can help.
And tradition C says that men are the ones.
Men are the one who are supposed to be there. If you do not talk about it, it brings about competition fulani. I usually hear from our parents, they say ati nyinyi watu wa kwenu ni hivi na hivi, kama hata si watu wa kwenu sijui. When you start having these things kwa nyumba, disagreements about these things, it takes you back to why didn't we talk about it?
But I feel like most of the time people do talk about these things, but the issue, okay, yeah, they talk about it deeply. Let's just assume they talk about it deeply. Then the problem comes in when we start involving the relatives. The relatives are not seeing sense. You've decided to commit to this person, right? And you wanna, let me say, you want to assimilate to their traditions, or okay, it has started making sense for you in some way, because I can say that love is blind. Okay, then you start assimilating to their traditions. Then when you start bringing in the relatives, sasa, it becomes.
No, I feel like bringing about the relatives should also be.
Oh yeah,
be open with your partner and tell them that.
Behave.
Tell them that, you see, one, our culture says that we can accommodate our relatives. They'll come, and this is what they'll do. As a partner, I'll understand. I'll tell you, okay, we bora tu ile time when you're kuja, tell me so that I be prepared. Yeah. It doesn't have to interfere with anything, because maybe that's how they believe, and maybe that's how he or she believes. And I can't change that about them. So what do? I just accommodate it the way it is, and accept the way it is. Then I adjust. But now, when they're not there, we have to behave the way we have been behaving. Talk about it. When you that this, I don't want to mention, but trying X, maybe wanna believe lazima waende pale wakulie wafanye nini wanywe wafanye vitu zote these maajabu things that they do. They feel like that's their own. So talk about them and tell them maybe at a certain point watakuja to visit and they'll want this and that. So be prepared. But then it doesn't mean that now you don't balance the two. You give your side priority. Balance. And if it was to choose sides, I'd rather you choose your partner. Because you won't be married to your culture, tradition, and your relatives. You'll be married to this lady or this gentleman, and you'll spend the rest of your life with this person, not your tradition, your family.
Can we call family as a part of traditions and customs? Like, how do they behave? Uncle A is full of this. Uncle
Yeah, I can say part of it.
Wasishtuke like this one. When you prepare me and tell me Uncle A is a person who spites people, person B is a kind person. When you tell me these things, suppose a day we were to meet, I'll be like, okay, I expect it. I don't have to get
prepare them psychologically and tell them this is what happens. Maybe they don't want me to dress this way. Well, I've heard that there are some people when you go visit them, there's a certain way you're supposed to dress as a lady. And there's a certain way you're supposed to be doing things. You're not supposed to be looking at the men. I don't know. All this.
Do you see that too?
But then I've heard there was this time, I was working somewhere. Then I heard actually tailors were saying that acha tushone nguo za kwenda kuona mother-in-laws wenye wanakera.
Exactly.
I'm like, why? So I came to understand later on that it's not mother-in-laws ambao wanakera. It's the tradition and the beliefs that this, funny beliefs. And there's this other one. And I want to tell anyone who is listening to me. You see, tradition might say that when you're married to this man's place, you're the one who's supposed to be cooking. For me, if kuna watoto wa kike kwa the boma, please, it's your house. This lady wasn't married to that house. She's a visitor. Ni mgeni, alichukuliwa from kwao. Nyinyi wasichana wa huko pekeni. It's your house. Take care of your mom, take care of your dad. It's your house. Personally, I wouldn't allow my wife to cook tukienda kwetu. No. Unless
say it again.
Unless hawakukua and she feels like she wants to do it. But I just no. My friend, tradition is
respectful. When these things come in between partners, then the guy is quiet. Like it's just
that is
now, and I'm like, what are you doing?
You see,
what are you leaving her? It's like throwing her to the lion. It's like,
if I can't protect my wife or I can't protect my girlfriend from this archaic beliefs from my tribe, where will I protect her? That one, that very move shows how you don't value that person. Because there are these things. I mean, the world is evolving each and every day. Things change. You can't expect the same beliefs we had in the 80s are the same things we have right now. When you look at the dressing type, it may change. You can tell them just dress appropriately or respectfully when we go there, so that we don't have this negative energy. Kifika pale.
Yeah, so we wrapped that tradition.
Yeah, so it's all there, and it involves religion because different religions pure upon a beliefs, how people should dress, how people should conduct themselves. It's very different when you come to all these things. So how you talk about this? If you do not have this conversation that this is how our religion or our tribe thinks things are supposed to be done, then be sure the relationship or the marriage will fail so easily when the third party now comes in. Talk about it.
Wow, that's heavy. So the next point is their life story, the traumas, the background. I feel like many people keep to themselves these issues, then they end up not dealing with it. When you can't talk about it, it means you haven't overcome it, or you aren't victorious over the matter, or you're not proud of it. I feel like for trauma, to be healed, you have to go through it. You have to talk, you have to overcome it, then you can come and talk about it. Like, this is what happened. Talking about it means like you're free, like you're not afraid of people judging you. It's what happened and it is what it is. And the future is bound to be better. So if you don't talk about these traumas and the background, maybe you identify with struggle and your partner doesn't identify with struggle, then wao wametoka place kuna do, nyinyi mmetoka place conservative. Then when you bring these people together, they're like, no, you're wasting money. This person is like, you like cheap things. You did talk about it.
The difference in opinions. So I feel like, okay, not only that, maybe my past is that I used to love girls or I used to love
Very
that
true.
bad. I
Very
sleep around. Talk about it. Tell your partner, by the way. And I feel like if you open up about it, if this partner really loves you for who you are or not, tell them. But this was me. I used to drink. I was an alcoholic. I was a drug addict. I was a thief. Or I was a rapist.
all the terrible things.
Talk about it. Maybe you might have this history of being raped, defined when you're still young. And maybe the way you said it, if you can't talk about it, that means that you haven't let it. And I'm like, okay, don't take this wrong. Yes, being raped is something that I can't smile about. I can't be happy about. It's so wrong. But, as the victim, you have to learn how to forget it and live in the present. Know that your life can't stop because of that one event. And I believe that God knows why it happened.
Yeah, very true.
So if you're there, you don't want to move, it's like you're telling God, mi nichukue vile niko. I'm tired. Don't be that person who gives up easily. Because when you go outside here, people have different experiences. And you might think that yours is the worst, but there's someone else akona mbaya zaidi. But when you look at them, they smile, they're happy, and they're like, it is what it is.
And I usually say that traumas have a way of, when you keep an issue or a problem hidden and you say, like, this one will ever come to life in my relationship, in my marriage. When you keep it hidden, it always finds a way of coming out during arguments.
Yeah, it will just come.
Like, okay, for example, a person who was raped, right? Then the guy is, he doesn't know what you went through. So he's just being a natural, chaotic person telling you, how he doesn't like this, he doesn't like that. Then you're like, okay, men always want to have their own way. Like, they just want to force their way through. Like, he doesn't know what you're going through. So whatever he's going to say, he won't be careful of what he's saying. But when you talk about these things, he'll know, I shouldn't say this. I shouldn't do that, to make you feel like I'm bringing back your past to life.
And also, something that we might have forgotten. People come from these families where it's always violence. It's always all that. If we're dating or if you want to get married, it's wise enough for me to tell you, by the way, I come from a home where the dad used to beat the mom or the mom used to beat the dad. It doesn't necessarily mean that the dad is the one who is always doing this. It comes from both sides. Or just tell them, in our house, we used to sleep outside because my dad alikuwa anapiga mama, or he was cheating, so we couldn't talk about all this. When you talk about it, the English say that our problem shared is
problem.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So when you talk about it, one, utakuwa umepunguza uzito fulani kwako. And you'll feel like, oh, by the way, I feel relieved. Now I can continue. It gives you that sense of, okay, by the way. Yeah. And when that person doesn't judge you and tells you, that is the past, let us continue, let us focus on the future.
And you'll always find that your partner, after telling about these issues, he will always, he or she, no, I'm not saying ati fiki yake ati making that the one having issues, he or she will never do what you experienced to another person who is in your life. For example, for example, they'll try to change your notion about men. That person will be so kind to you that you'll be like, what did I do to deserve this kind of person? It's because you had that conversation and he's trying to heal you. So whenever you people will have kids, he'll be like, no, me, I can't beat my kids. I will only talk to them and, we'll punish them whenever necessary. But punishing kids for accidental things or things that just happen in normal, no, he will never do that because he's like, I don't want you to remember the past through what I'm doing.
Yeah, it will trigger that past and you'll be like, hi, kwani haikuisha. So when you have this conversation, your partner will be like, oh, by the way, I need not to treat this person this way because of whatever they passed. And if I do it, it will trigger that thought that I'm the same as what happened.
And if your partner does what you went through to your kids or to another person in your life, that partner doesn't love you. You should run away.
Yeah, it's a red flag.
It's a red flag, honestly. Yeah.
So it leads me to the next point. The next point is about education level. And this one, I think if I leave it at this point, no one will understand what I mean. You would even understand. Education level comes in so many ways, but I'll try to explain it how I understand it. When you have this conversation about education level, up until you get someone says they have standards. I can't date someone who doesn't have a degree. I can't date someone who didn't attend a specific university. That's my class. So this education level brings about standards. When we want to date or when we want to get married, I come and tell you, by the way, this is where I reached. And I reached here not because I didn't want, or maybe I just wanted to reach here, then focus on other things. Because if I continued with the same path, maybe I wouldn't have been where I am. So I stopped school at Form 4. After Form 4, I just said, okay, let me venture into business. And maybe I went to the university, I couldn't finish because we didn't have fee. Talk about this. Someone might feel like, oh, by the way, I did just so me now we can't. And I feel like once you don't have this conversation and you set those standards, you miss beautiful things in life. You miss
not even that.
Yeah.
For example, you tell a person, we didn't have fees or I decided to venture into business. It'll be like, okay, do you still have interest to do a deal?
Exactly.
Yeah, how about we put funds together, you go to school? Beautiful. Because you have the conversation. Or imagine you've been dating, you've been married 5 years down the line. He doesn't know your education. Then he's like, what? Singesema tu ungekuwa soma sahi ungekuwa mapigosha job. And okay, your partner telling you to find a job at times comes across shady, like he's telling you to go get a life or get a job. At times, it doesn't mean that way. He or she wants you to be independent or to achieve whatever you wanted to achieve that hukukuwa nayo.
Yeah. He wants you to reach the level that you anticipated to reach at a given time. And again, when you don't have this conversation, now it brings me to the next part of the education level thing. You see, someone might tell you, by the way, I wasn't smart in school, so you don't expect me to think the way you're thinking. I might be smart in other things, but when it comes to academics, I'm not that smart. Then now it should also pave way for your partner to understand. If your children aren't smart, you don't now start saying watu wa kwenyu ama mama yako ndo ameleta hiki chote.
Not even that. Yeah, that counts. Not even that is like conjunction, but above katikati. We're not saying at your point doesn't make sense. I went to the salon. I think it was last week, but one, right? On 2nd.
Mm-hmm.
Then I had the lady saying that when my husband comes home, he assists them with homework. Kuna subjects mi najua na kuna subjects zenye yeye anajua. Then the other lady was like, kwani anajua ujui hizo vitu? Akisema yes, yeah, anajua, mi sina shida. So like, yeah, kirudi job, akikutoka job anajua hizi subjects yeye ndo anafaa kusaidia watoto, mume nasaidia watoto the rest. So like, wow,
happy wallet.
So cool. Like he was not like, kwani mama yako haikuwa kusaidie?
To avoid those kind of
Quite
negative things and very weird information. You're feeding your children with very weird things. Just tell your partner, by the way, mimi hii hapa sijui, but I can help. I'm eager to learn also. Your partner will also help you to learn some of these things.
Very true.
So, I believe a relationship or marriage is about building each other, be it academic-wise, be it financially, be it emotionally, be it physically. It's about building each other with different perceptions about life. So if you do not have this conversation about my academical level, my education level, maybe I didn't attend school because of this and that, it will interfere with a lot of things. Then you will lose your partner or your marriage easily because you did have this conversation, and now you start feeling like madharau imeanza.
Yeah, you see, in that context nimepeana, the guy in that marriage doesn't feel like ni yeye anafanya kila kitu. He feels like my wife hajui, I would just help, I would just sort things out. He won't feel like, oh, ni mimi natafuta, I'm the one coming back to teach the children, or I'm the one doing everything, or she's busy. Like, really?
Personally, I wasn't a lover of biology and chemistry. So for me, it might be a challenge to teach my children when it comes to that time. But I can't say that I wouldn't want to help them. I'll try and help them. Ikinishinda, then I'll just tell my wife, by the way, hii hapa na imekata. I'll just be free with you. Hii imekata. Can you assist them? If she can't, then now we'll see other ways. Let's go. I mean, talk about it. Msijaibishe. Alafu msianze kuwa na migogoro midogo midogo ati sijui this that. Talk about it. Talk about it.
So my next point is beliefs and values. It comes across in the weirdest manner. For example, how do you like your things done? Do you like your clothes ironed, then zinakunjwa, or you like your clothes ironed, then then they're hung in the closet? Do you like your clothes washed, then zinaanikwa upside down? Like, yeah, that's so weird.
I do upside down.
So weird. For example, let me use a trouser. I wish I could get a hold of a trouser.
Do you real word?
Okay, a trouser. Maybe anapenda ikianikwa uko chini ndo iko juu. Then the other person
it's upside down.
It's upside down.
Maybe it's inside down, whatever.
No, I'm saying upside down.
I know upside down and I'm giving you.
Oh yeah, inside out. If they like it that way. Do they like the house cleaned from dusting then sweeping, or sweeping then dusting? Whichever way they like to do their things, you just embrace it. So if you don't talk about these things, you'll find yourselves quarreling, have very issues. Like, where do you live? Your hair in the bathtub. Where's your clothes? Why are clothes all over the place? Why are the clothes hung upside down? Why are the windows not opened? Why is the curtain like very weird things?
I watched a movie. I think it's The Good Doctor. There's this. I think it's season 3, episode 5, 6, somewhere there. So when Dr. Sean was given his first lead surgery, he couldn't perform. Then the second one now, he started having issues, and he told one of the assisting nurses that he likes his I think it's scissors. I don't remember the whole thing, but he likes his scissors being given at a 45 angle degree, whatever 45-degree angle. So you see, specific. And I feel like when it comes to relationships, how this thing works, just tell this person, by the way, I like my shoes washed this way, and this part uko chini don't touch or wash it.
I like my shoes cleaned every weekend. Like, mimi viatu zangu hazitaipita kama zitapitishwa maji kupanguza.
I like my shirts ironed straight, no lines, no funny lines. By the way, that's how I am. I hate hate shirts. So be specific. Tell your partner, by the way, I don't want my shirt even at this funny lines. The way it is straight, iwe hivo. Because maybe these funny lines make me look like a fool.
And a golden tip in these commitments or people you want to commit to, you should tell them what you want directly. They're not angels.
the low profit sphere.
Yeah, so the conversation should be just straight to the point. I want to go and get makeup. Can you assist me with some money? Don't start smiling or calling them.
No, we don't just
Oh. Huh?
we don't just get that direct.
Okay, not that
Yeah.
direct, but they're not angels to know. Imagine. No, listen to this.
Can I ask you something?
The lady has been calling the guy sweet names since the previous week. And she's like, okay, he's not getting I want money. Then Amefura, she starts having moods and attitudes. Now that's no, that's what I'm saying.
Let me tell you something. Even if I am a man, I'm not a prophet. Even if you do that, hey, I'm also not a robot where you just come and
That's
give me
the
orders.
thing.
This is the thing. When you call me that sweet name, I'll know. Then tell me, by the way, this is why I'm doing this. I want this. There is a nice way of asking.
Yeah, I'm just saying.
Yeah, directly at it. My friend Nataka makeup. No,
I'm not saying.
I don't say.
No, done deal. I'm not saying. Okay, Austin, you have got the score. You have 10 points. I have 0. 10-0.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that one points.
I'm not saying that you should command. The point is, just say what you want directly.
But
Okay, yeah. Say what you want directly.
for example, I can't just come and tell you nataka credit. Joe utaniangalia zile za really, you'll come, excuse me. Could you kind of assist me with something?
That's proper.
Yeah, in a respectful way, in a polite way. So the one that you say ati nataka makeup. Yeah, I'll look at you and be like, utapata.
No, but it's directly still. Okay.
Directly in a respectful way.
Yeah, in a respectful way. Okay, you won.
Yeah. My final point. My final point is about finances.
Wow.
This one is a very critical topic that needs to be talked about.
Even in marriages.
Of any form of relationship, be it business, be it marriages, be it friendship. Talk about it. Because money is the greatest enemy of success. If you want to know how good leaders usually fail because of money, a leader was very good, but because of tamaya pesa, they end up being the worst people.
But now we're talking about commitment.
When it comes to commitment, talk about the issue of finances. And finances is divided into very many forms. Number one, ask your partner, when we have money, how do we go about it? When we do not have money, how do we go about it? For example, we have money. How do we spend it?
What are our priorities?
Exactly. Define your priorities.
How should we save it? How do we save for emergencies? Savings, our own savings. Do we have joint accounts? Do we do separate accounts, but we be transparent about our transactions? Mostly about the transactions, in as much as it's his money, in as much as it's my money, I can't go buy a pair of shoes and not tell.
A relationship is where
he will feel like, he will start feeling like, okay, she can buy her own things. Then he starts to be like, okay, and then that you don't know, Leah.
Then as a lady, you start feeling like Alibendi. And you're the one who started it.
You didn't feel like it was okay for you to go and tell him, can I go get this pair of shoes? So I'm using my money. And he'll be like, okay, it's okay, you can just buy.
So that is one. Another one is how do we take care of how do we go about our bills? Do we pay it as a team, or one person pays it, or do we pay it like in turns? This month I'm the one who is taking care of the bills. The following month it's you. Or how do you go about it? How do we split it?
Or do you take care of the major ones?
The minors. You see, talk about all this. When it comes to your personal grooming, it also requires money.
Yeah.
How do you do it? Does the husband do it for both of you, or you cost share, or it's the wife doing for both of you? Talk about it. And you said about the accounts. Mm-hmm. We have 4 accounts. We have the personal accounts. We have the savings account. We have the emergency account. And the last one...
We have the trustee fund.
Yeah, the last one is any other one that you want to open. Maybe it's a business one for your investments. All this, you need to have that conversation. Once you do not have this conversation, now it brings about the wife can do things for herself, or it brings the Africanness that I usually talk about, and it's not wrong, but how we do it is wrong. The Africanness is where the man is the one to do everything. But when you talk about it, we understand unembe, by the way, pesa yangu haifiki kushughulikia kila kitu. How do you go about it? I'm pretty sure when people talk, dialogue is the best way to solve issues, and it's the best way to have peace. Talk.
But some people see it as a weakness. Actually, the power of vulnerability to your partner or a person you consider them you want them to be in your life, like for real, you want them to be your better half. When you're vulnerable with them, it shows strength. You're able to be yourself and also be open to another person about yourself. So if you don't open up about these nitty-gritty things or things, okay, someone might say that it's patronizing for a lady to go and buy something. I don't know why because some people don't see sense in it. Because after all, it's my money, right?
The emphasis that you create brings some seriousness. So however much you repeat your point, I think someone will understand it.
Yeah, so what I'm saying is that in as much as it is your money, you're not spending your partner's money. It's respectful of you to tell them, I want to go and get this. I want to buy this. I want to invest this. I mean, being open about your transactions will remove that worry. Imagine being a partner and you're worrying about how your partner is a spendthrift. You don't even know what he earns. Or then you have expectations.
It brings this mentality, this Africanness again, where your partner starts saying you're in a cult. And that is why you have a lot of money. When you don't talk about it, it later is if it is a cult, shakahola things, and then they do Illuminatis and all these other things. Talk about it. Tell them this is my source of money. I'm not a thief. Or by the way, if you're a thief, just tell them, mimi, kazi yangu ni kunyonga watu pale place fulani.
Yemi sang it in a song and said, if you claim that this person is your baby means your love, right? If you claim this person is your love, you should know where they work, how they earn their income.
Because one day you might be caught up somewhere, then you start wondering, ni bwanangu kweli, ni mke wangu. Know where they work, know their source of money. It's not wrong to be open about this. And it doesn't mean, by the way, this mentality that we usually have, men, telling your wife this is where I get my money isn't wrong. Hata ukitaka kumficha the amount of money you earn ni sawa. But please tell them this is the source of my money. Ndio, one day when things get bad, you know how to explain, and she'll be there to defend you, or he'll be there to defend you. So it's all about talk about it. See, kazi inaisha siku moja, then now because I was the one who is providing, we don't claim again. Then kidogo wife na watoto wame left. Don't do that. Talk about it.
So that is it. You have anything else?
Anything else? What I can say is this is our own opinion about how things are. We can have different ideas because we are not contented with whatever we have. We need to learn more, and when we learn more, we are open-minded and our eyes are open. Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Love language also matters. Do you translate love as being bought for things? Do you translate love as being done for good things, like opening the door, pulling your seat? These gentlemen cues. Oh my God, they just make me crazy. So now we're talking about love languages. Do you translate love as sweet words sing to you? When you understand that this is a person who translates love as being bought for good things, you'll try to get them gifts.
No.
You will never stop dating. Like, even if it's marriage, you'll never stop going out. You'll never stop buying them flowers, even the tiny, tiny things. Like, they still appreciate. So knowing your partner's love language is very important. And it's our conversation to be had.
Yeah, it's a conversation.
Don't ignore it, because If you don't know their love language, how will you be able to please them? Not necessarily please them, but
Now, how will you be able to appreciate and accept them for who they are?
oh yeah,
If you don't know how they prefer their
very true.
effects. So love language is important. So as I was saying, is this our own opinions. They don't have to necessarily be what you think, but it can guide you and help you know what you can do for your relationship to be better, for your relationship to work.
Sure.
And so I'm sure someone out there has learned something from this episode.
Yeah, very true.
And
you're welcome.
yeah, so we thank God for our followers and our subscribers.
Yeah, and
Followers on
the
TikTok.
viewership.
The viewership. Daily it's increasing. All I can say is that anyone who wants to start such a thing is, when you want to start it, be sure you commit and be consistent.
Consistency is
Yeah.
key.
Though it might be hard, but just try keeping up with the pace.
Yeah.
So our social media handles are Instagram is at @I am_Ostina. TikTok is Ostina Go254. So please subscribe, like, share, and comment.
Yeah, and if you don't subscribe, I don't know what to say. I think we're too old to not subscribe.
Just be a supporter.
Yeah, and if you feel tagged about a conversation that you've not had with a person that you may be regarding them to be so high in your life, it's time to open up, be vulnerable, be to the point, straight to the point. And something I want to tell you people is that when you have these conversations, when they bring up these conversations, do not lie.
Yeah.
Do not lie.
Be honest, be open.
Not lie. Be honest. Be yourself. It's like you're selling yourself. Tell this person, this is what you signed up for. This is the full package from A to Z. So if you want it, it's there. If you don't want it, then goodbye.
So be blessed and see you in the next episode.
Okay, see ya.